Okay, let's talk about China retaliating to the Trump administration's tariffs on China. So Trump has put various tariffs on goods coming out of China to the US. Pretty much any goods that are coming out of China to the US, Trump has put tariffs on. And China have responded to that, and the Ministry of Finance announced 15% tariffs on imports of chicken, wheat, corn and cotton from the United States, as well as 10% tariffs on imports of sorghum, soybeans, pork, wheat, corn, pork, beef, aquatic products, fruit, vegetables and dairy products. And additionally to that, it also put 15 US companies on the export controlled list. But China also issued a very strong statement. Actually, it's probably one of the strongest statements I've ever seen China issue. And this is the statement they made, quote, "If the US has other agenda in mind, and if war is what the US wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other type of war, we're ready to fight till the end. Let me reiterate that intimidation does not scare us. Bullying does not work on us. Pressuring, coercion or threats are not the right way of dealing with China. Anyone using maximum pressure on China is picking the wrong guy and miscalculating." So as you can see, that is a really, really strong statement. Now, I don't think these latest tariffs from the USA will bother China that much. Since the start of the trade war, and during the Biden administration, before Trump got elected, he was suggesting tariffs of 60%, 100% on all Chinese goods. But I think that Trump and his administration know that they really depend on China, not only for finished goods, but for a lot of raw materials. Now, things like soybeans, wheat, corn, cotton, pork, beef, chicken, oil and gas, and agricultural machinery products, China can either, in the case of agricultural machinery, produce it itself, but in the case of a lot of the agricultural products, it can actually source from elsewhere. And I would imagine that China have already got contingencies into place. They've done new deals with Russia for some of those wheat and corn and products like that. And soybeans they can I guess get from places like Brazil. So I think in the years since the first Trump administration, they've probably been preparing for these kind of tariffs to come. And I think it will be a much bigger problem for the US. So first of all, if you look at agricultural products, a lot of American jobs rely on agriculture exports to China. Whereas if you look at the exports from China to the US, many of those exports are critical products or raw materials that the USA simply can't find anywhere else, i.e. the rare earths. Now, yeah, we hear Trump wants to do a deal with Ukraine because apparently there's a lot of rare earths in there. I would ask you to ask yourselves one question. If there's so many rare earths in Ukraine, why have they not been extracted until now? But you know, you look at some of the other materials that China dominates, that America can't buy from anywhere else. You've got solar products, you have batteries for EVs and such like. You have all these rare earths and things like titanium, tungsten, graphite. You know, there's so much, lots of pharmaceutical products, lots of finished manufactured goods, housewares, all the, you know, just so much. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. And as I say, you know, although China still exports a lot to the USA, it also has in the last 10 to 15 years built up a lot more of its export trade to other Southeast Asian countries, the BRICS nations, and also countries like Africa are growing in the amount of trade that they do with China. Now, my thought that this is all grandstanding by Trump. Trump has already mentioned that he would like to get more Chinese investment into America. And I think that one of the key areas will be the automotive industry. If you look at Chinese car companies. They're now way ahead of American car companies with both price, production, technology. And you've even had the CEO of Ford saying how far American companies are now behind China. And my thought is that Trump wants to get joint ventures because he sees that as a way of opening up the creating jobs in the American market, having Chinese companies do joint ventures with American companies. And I think that's a good idea. That's exactly what China did to American companies. They make them form joint ventures. It benefits both China and it benefits the host country. And I think that can work just as well the other way around. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I think Trump is putting these tariffs on to use as a bargaining chip. There's been no date set for a Xi and Trump summit yet, but I think that's something that's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 months for sure. But I think that China will be wanting something that I am not sure that the Americans will be willing to give, and I think that China will want tech restrictions lifted. Although China are making a lot of progress into forming their own tech supply chain, I don't think they're going to stop. They would still like access to like TSMC in Taiwan to manufacture cutting edge silicon chips. They would like restrictions to be lifted on Huawei and other companies. I don't think the US will be willing to surrender those, but you never know. I mean, I think in this negotiation, China are in by far the strongest position. I think China have many more cards to play than the US, so it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. Anyway, that's my thoughts. You let me know what you think in the comments below. However, as always, for now, take care.